What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be reviewing the Grasshopper SO37 with a 61-inch cut. It is called the Outstander. These mowers have been out for 3 or 4 years now, and the reason I'm making a review on it today is because there's really just not much content on these lawn mowers right now. There is a handful of videos on YouTube and Facebook, people giving their opinions and reviews on these machines, and honestly I just feel like they're from people who are just demoing them or just using it one time for the review. And I feel like I have a little bit of real world experience now. I only have 15 hours on it, but I've put it through its paces and I kind of realize what it can and can't do, the pros and cons of the machine, and just reading some of the comments on Facebook on the Grasshopper page. Even Grasshopper fans are kind of unsure about these mowers just because there's not much content, especially the 37 horse Vanguard on the 61-inch cut. Grasshopper originally came out with a 61-inch cut a couple years ago with a 26 horse, and I think, you know, Grasshopper heard their faithful that they wanted more power, and they brought it here. Pete on GCI Turf on YouTube did a review on the 26 horse with the 52-inch cut about a year ago. I'd recommend people checking that one out. He's got some good information on it. He seems like an honest guy and has a lot of experience in this industry, so it wouldn't hurt to watch his video. But again, I think I have some real world experience with it and maybe some insight for some guys, because it looks like on the Grasshopper page people are like, we want to know more about this mower. So yeah, I guess I'll just start out with, you really don't see people with the Grasshopper, at least in my area. I'm in central Indiana. There's only a handful of dealers maybe within 60 miles of me. I had to drive about 45 minutes for this one. I have a dealer that's 15 minutes from me, which is where I'll do parts and service. But I think that's kind of the issue with not seeing these mowers, is they're just not sold in a lot of places. Now, I could be wrong. This is my first Grasshopper. I ran Ferris and Skag before, but yeah, you just don't see too many commercial guys running Grasshopper. I think you will see more here in the coming years with this stander in particular, because in the commercial industry, the standards are kind of the way people are going now. So yeah, I guess I'll just start with the engine itself. Is this thing's a monster. 37 horse is plenty on a 61-inch cut. It eats everything. That was one of the reasons I wanted a higher horsepower. Originally, I have a 52-inch 26 horse Skag, and it does fine. I don't have any qualms about it. But definitely when the grass is taller and wet, like you hear it bog down a little bit. It loses that blade tip speed. Whereas here on this, it just eats. I'm not exaggerating. Like it just eats. So you're not losing that blade tip speed. You can still mow at a pretty decent rate, and not give up that quality of cut, because this thing ain't slowing down. It's not bogging down. Another thing I really like, I think Wright mowers have it as well. I'm not sure who else does it, but the engine is connected to the deck. It's mounted to the deck, so you have a less belts. You have one less belt, a couple less pulleys, because it's all one unit, and you lose less. What do you want to call it? I guess the net loss of power in the pulleys and belts is less with this. So that's one thing I really like. Yeah, it's cool to have less moving parts, and you're not sacrificing any power. You're actually keeping it. I guess moving down to the deck itself, the grass guard that they have on it from the chute guard, you gotta ditch that immediately. Even in the dry grass, like just bone dry grass, I was finding that it was clumping a little bit, like not like noticeably, but like someone who does this every day, if you guys are mowing every day, you would see it and be like, no, that's not good enough. So you really got to ditch the chute guard that comes on it from the factory. I know pretty much everybody does, but as you can see, I went ahead and threw a grass flap on it. That was the first thing that I did. As far as clumping or like build up under the deck, it builds up just like any other mower deck. I'm not going to be very hot takey on this machine. I know there's probably some Grasshopper faithful out there, or lovers and diehards that are probably not like everything I say, but as far as like it, if you're mowing in wet grass, it's going to get built up. Somebody like me, I change my blades basically twice a week. I change them on Tuesday night and Sunday night, so I'm scraping the deck and I got crap coming off of it. It is what it is. I spray WD-40 on there in between blade changes. It helps a little bit. It'll fall off easier, but yeah. Cut quality. I'll talk about cut quality. This thing cuts great. I don't have any issues with the cut on this mower. Now, like I said, I'm not going to be hot takey. The Skag cuts great too. Fairs cuts great too. Great, good, whatever you want to call it. They all cut the same to me. They cut good. They do what I need to do. They've made me money. So if you want me to say Grasshopper cuts better than a Skag or vice versa, I'm just not going to. What I will say is the Skag does stripe better. I think it's because they have rollers instead of a rubber flap. Where the Grasshopper, they just have a flap here that's pushing the grass down. If anything, maybe the Grasshopper has a cleaner cut, but the finished cut on a Skag, it just pops a little bit more. Those of you guys who are worried about stripes, you know what I mean. They both cut great. I wouldn't put one above the other as far as that goes. What else on the deck? Anything else? Oh yeah, the deck is fixed. On a Skag, you got a floating deck, and that's something I read from a lot of Grasshopper guys or Standard guys that are they don't like the Grasshopper because it's a fixed deck, or they're worried about the deck because it's a fixed deck. It does fine. They're worried about scalping and stuff, and floating the deck is something I see guys talk about a lot. I haven't had any issue floating the deck. Even with the engine being connected to the deck and being one piece, like this thing has two pretty heavy duty springs, almost like a garage door spring, and you can lift it and lower it easy, very easy. You could have somebody stand on the deck and you lift it up easy as well. So me personally, I haven't found any issues with this deck or scalping or anything. If you're running over something uneven, the anti-scalp wheels hit it and the deck will adjust itself. The territory you come in with getting up in these deck sizes, 61 and up, it's just the nature of the beast. You're gonna be mowing a larger area, so the chances of scalping something are gonna go up. It just kind of is what it is. But me personally, haven't really ran into that issue quite yet. Okay, fuel tanks. I like the fuel tanks. I like the dual fuel tanks. I don't know exactly how big each one is. I want to say it's like 4.5 maybe in each tank. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. as far as fuel consumption, it is a little bit more than the 26 horse Kawasaki I have on the Skag. Not like noticeably more where I'm like, man, I got to go fill up again. But, you know, you get halfway through a day, and if you're mowing for 8 or 9 hours, you look down and one tank is empty, and you're like, okay. So then, you know, you switch it over. Depending on how fast you mow, what you're mowing, all that good stuff, I could see getting a day and a half on a full tank, on full tanks. So, and again, if you're going with a 37 horse, fuel is not something you're probably too worried about. It just kind of is the territory that you're in for a bigger displacement. So, I think something that is kind of quirky is the fuel caps themselves. It's not like an issue, or like it's not make or break, but like it's like kind of like in the way here. I mean, you can kind of, it's just kind of weird engineering there, that it's under the deck lever. Like I said, it's not like a deal breaker or anything, and also it's the same on the e-brake. It's kind of just like right there, but yeah. Let's talk about the tires. I'm with everybody else on these tires. The tires in the back are way too aggressive. I don't know why Grasshopper put these on there. They're literally, they say off-road on the tire. If you are not extremely delicate and careful, you're gonna tear and rip up some properties. I've done it, which I will get to the hand controls, which I think assist you in not tearing up the grass and the way this thing just operates in general. But I have another set of tires on the way, should be here actually today or tomorrow, and I'm going to swap those out just for, you know, some regular lawnmower tires. And I guess if you are a larger company and you're mowing a lot of steep hills, maybe in the south, you're doing HOAs, warehouses and stuff like that, I guess I could see it beneficial. I mean, because this thing sticks. Like for a 61 inch, this sticks to hills just as good as the 52 inch. In my opinion, a 52 inch stand on is like the best medium of sticking to hills. When you get above 52 inch, the machine is just so big, it doesn't want to stick to hills. And even with this wider footprint, I find like the Skag, I feel a little more comfortable with a 52 inch on some steep hills. But also, one thing to note too with this deck that I forgot, you know, the center of gravity, since it's connected to the deck, I guess this is just going to be a Grasshopper thing because it's on the 52 inch as well. With the engine being lower to the ground, the lower center of gravity is low. Like, it's good. Like, it's going to stick to a hill better than a Skag where the engine is mounted basically to the frame of the mower. So that's just something to keep in mind. When this thing is down, it's like impossible to pop a wheelie. I mean, some people are like, oh, it's a Stander, it should be able to pop a wheelie. Well, first of all, I'm not going to be beating up my mower like that. This thing won't pop a wheelie because the center of gravity is so low, which is it's a really nice thing, I think. So back to the tires. Got new tires coming in. We'll swap those out. I'm not going to go with twills yet. I really can't afford it. Can't justify it at the moment. One thing I really do like about these, the Grasshopper, is the front wheels are nice. I don't have any complaints about the setup here on the front. The Z2 I had and the V-Ride both had airless front tires. And I know you're supposed to stay off, you know, concrete and driveways and whatnot, but everybody knows it's like inevitable. You're gonna have to drive on some concrete here and there. The airless tires like paint lines on the concrete. I don't know if this is because they're pneumatic or if they have a tread pattern on them, or it's the casters, the bearings they put in here in the front end. But I really haven't had an issue with turning in lawns and the front wheels tearing up the grass, like spinning around real quick. So I really like that about it. I was kind of unsure at the beginning, but yeah, I will say if you keep these tires and you run through any mud with them, as soon as you get on pavement or unloaded off the trailer, you are flinging globs of mud everywhere. If you go over like a gravel driveway or pebbles or something, they're gonna get stuck in there. These things are just way too meaty. So just something else to note. Again, I guess some people were like, wow, if you're gonna spend $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 on a lawnmower, it shouldn't come with these tires where you got to replace them immediately. I guess I kind of see it the other way. It's like, if I'm gonna spend this much on a mower, a few hundred more bucks is not a deal breaker for me to just swap out some tires. You know, kind of is what it is. But all right, moving on to the operator platform here. The everyone's familiar now probably that this entire operator platform can go up and down. It's got like 4.5 inches of play in it. Me personally, I have it set at the lowest spot. I had some flack on Facebook, the group page, about it being low. I'm 6 foot, 190 pounds, and I have it set up almost the same height as the Skag. That's just where I feel comfortable with. I could see if you got multiple guys on this thing throughout the day and you want to mess with it, raise it up and down, you know, have at it. I think it's a cool thing that they've put in play, compared to all the other ones that just have a fixed operating platform. The hand controls themselves, a feature I really like about this that I didn't even know until I saw it when I saw it for the first time, was this front bar here is adjustable. It can go back and forth, and there's a good amount of adjustability on it. I will say, if you have the bar all the way up, so you can mow at the full speed. I don't have big hands. I don't have little hands. I just have normal size hands. I feel like the bar is like all the way out here. I can barely even reach it. So it's not practical to have it out all the way. You're going to be fighting the machine all day, and your hands are going to get tired. You're probably going to be cramping up on your thumb and your palm trying to do that. So I did move it closer to me. I feel like I'm still mowing at a really quick rate and not sacrificing the cut quality, and my hands are just comfortable right there. Anywhere else, like, it's like on my fingertips. I'm like constantly trying to move up to grab. So having that right there, I think, is really nice. I will say the reverse on these, like, it's not like you need to go fast on these mowers, but the reverse is slow compared to the Z2 and the Skag. When I'm in reverse, this thing is like, I'm like constantly like, okay, now it's time to go, and it just never goes when I'm trying to go in reverse. But again, not a huge deal breaker, but it could be a little quicker. As far as like the grips themselves, they're really nice. It's this Alcantara material, fabric, whatever you want to call it. It's on the deck lever too. I know they put this in like some higher end sports cars and stuff, as far as like interior pieces, steering wheels and stuff. It's really nice to touch. It feels firm. But my only gripe about it, which it's not a gripe yet, is the durability. Is how long is it gonna last with, you know, in the sun, rain, sweaty hands. In a couple years, I'm afraid this is gonna get like kind of like smooth to the touch and slippery, and kind of lose its kind of like just the, I don't want to say plush, but it has like a little bit of squeeze to it. But yeah, I guess that's all I would say about that. Something I do not like about this mower is the deck lever and the e-brake lever. These things are sticking up like flagpoles, okay? It's kind of ridiculous. So, like the Skag, they're like beneath the hand controls. That's how low they are. Even when the deck is lowered and the e-brake is off, these things are sticking entirely way too far out. if you drive under a tree or debris, whatever it is, you guys know what it's like if you're on a stander trying to get close to stuff or close to trees. These are getting caught on everything. I wish they were smaller. I wish they were shorter. This comes with like a rubber boot over the e-brake. And as you can see, I've already lost it in 15 hours. Going around some trees and stuff. It got pulled off and I couldn't find it. I probably ran over it and chewed it up. But yeah, I don't like that about those. It's kind of taking me something to get used to. But again, not a deal breaker. It's not the worst thing in the world. Just trying to give every opinion I can on it. Cup holder. I never put a drink on a mower while I'm mowing. It's cool it's got one and it's adjustable, but don't think I'll be using it. Okay, moving on to the ride quality, the ride comfort. I'll start with saying you can only get so comfortable on a stander. It just kind of is what it is. You hear sit down guys like, why would you ever want to stand all day? It's not comfortable, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I want to save my back. If I'm going to do this for 15 or 20 years and it's my what I do for a living, I'm going to try to save my knees and feet and back, or my back especially. As far as standers go, this is the most comfortable stander out there. I guarantee it. I've only been on a Z2, a V-Ride 2, and now the Grasshopper. I hate to sound silly, but it is truly like a Cadillac compared to these other things. I'll just show, for instance, like the Skag has 2 springs and 2 rubber little boots here. You stand on this thing, it's like a brick. The Skag, or this Grasshopper, it is plush. It is soft. It is like a pillow. It is comfortable. It's the moment I stepped on it the first time, I was like, wow. I looked at the rep that was letting me demo this. I was like, wow, that seriously is comfortable. I don't think you can get any more comfortable on a stander than what you have right here. I always said when I started my business and then moved into the Skag, if I could marry the Ferris ride quality, the comfort that that platform had with a Skag cut, that would be the perfect mower. Well, I think this is the perfect mower right here. This is the most comfortable ride, and the cut quality is up there with the best of them. So yeah, I will say that the platform on it, those perforated holes don't do anything. It's very slippery when it gets damp and wet. I plan on putting some anti-skid tape on the platform here in the next day or so to help with that, to help solve that. And I was mowing the other day. I don't know why they have those holes down there, if it's just for looks or whatever, but I was mowing around an apple tree and somehow an apple flew up through the hole and I stepped on it and I was like, what the heck? And there was an apple on the platform. So yeah, it's kind of funny. The pad itself, it's nice. It feels really durable. I like that there's stitching right here. That's cool. If I could change something or add something, I would put like a side bolster right here where it was had some more support when you're going around a tree or on a hill where you can kind of like lean into it a little bit. Again, not a deal breaker. It is a huge back pad compared to the Skag. So I guess as far as like maintenance wise and stuff, I haven't really done any maintenance on it yet. Like I said, there's only 15 hours. So as far as like DIY maintenance when it comes to the hydros and the just oil change, the oil change looks very simple. I plan on actually changing it probably here in the next week or so, just to change the oil for the first time and get that first oil change out of the way. Something I always like to do with new engines. But I will be curious how the hydro fluid change. I don't know if I'll take it to the dealer or try to do it myself. The Skag's pretty simple. Yeah. So one thing I did forget to mention on when it comes to the controls and the way this thing rides, this thing is just smooth. Like, if I had to have a word for the Skag, I would say it's like raw. It's just a raw machine. Whereas the Grasshopper is, to me, it feels like a more complete machine. The Skag just feels like it's there to cut grass and cut grass good. Where the Grasshopper, it is just a solid machine, and it almost has what I would call like finesse. It might sound silly, but I feel like they checked off a lot of boxes with this as far as cut, ride quality, just the way that the hand controls are set up. It's just a more complete mower, in my opinion. I don't feel like Grasshopper tried to shortchange themselves. I think the rep told me that Grasshopper basically put 5 years of research and development into this mower, and then this is what was birthed. And I think they really hit it out of the park on their first rendition of this mower. So with that said, as far as like the hydros and how this thing rides, it is just smooth. Like, I know Pete from GCI Turf said that, and I don't have a better word for it, because this thing it's super smooth. I mean, it's also got a USB and, you know, a couple charging ports in there. This has a return to neutral, and it's something I'm having to get used to, because on a Skag and on a Ferris, when you're engaged and you let off, you come to a jerking stop. Like, it's like the hydros they force you to stop immediately. It's something I've gotten used to with a Skag, and it's very twitchy. Like, you barely move it, and on a Skag, and you're like, it's like you're really moving. Where on the Grasshopper, at least on this machine, it takes some more intentionality, I guess is the right word, in your movements. So like when you tell it to go, it's like it kind of gradually goes in a more fluid feeling, I guess is the right word. It's not jerky. It's not mushy by any means. It's just a little more firm. It's just different. I can't say I like the Skag controls better than the Grasshopper or vice versa. It's just a different feel. But I will say it is a more smooth feel. That's nice. So yeah, I don't know what else I could add on to that. The LED lights are super bright. Like I said, I probably really won't be using them that much, at least at this time of year in the middle of summer, because it gets light out early and stays light till 9 p.m. 9:30. One thing I will add is a bracket here to hold my trash can bucket. I didn't see the price of the Grasshopper one. It seemed like some of the comments said it's kind of expensive. I didn't even ask, so I figured I'll just go to the hardware store and build something myself. One thing I will add is the grass flap that they have, that Grasshopper has, that they offer for this. It's no good. You don't want it. It's just no good. I think you might be able to take off the chute itself, the guard, and run it with the flap, but you know, it has a handle here, and I really feel like you have to like reach way down here to operate it. And from the comments that I've seen on it, people haven't had good luck with it. I used it when I was demoing it, and I just didn't like the feel for it. I didn't like reaching over that far, and I didn't feel like it was blocking the grass very well. And even the Grasshopper rep was like, yeah, guys are putting grass flaps on these. You do have to drill in the deck, but it's kind of is what it is. It doesn't bother me. As far as like maintenance wise on blade changing, I have a hoist in my garage, so I just run in there, hook it up, lift it up, get under there, and change the blades. Very, very simple, very quick, and I have a blade sharpener. So if I really wanted to, by the time I pull it in and pull it out, it probably takes me 10 minutes or less to change the blades. I don't know necessarily how easy or difficult it's going to be to change a belt. Again, it might be something I just have done yearly at the dealer when I take it in, if I do take it in. The Skag is really simple to change the belt, in my opinion. I could do it pretty easy myself. It just seems a little different now that the engine is mounted to the deck and everything. I don't know. Just like I said from the beginning, there's not much content on these mowers, where you can search other mowers and it's like you have 1,000 videos on changing the oil or changing the belt or, you know, doing whatever. So I don't know, maybe I might pioneer something and do some stuff. But I would say overall, I really, really like this mower. Sure, there's a couple things that I dislike about it, but I think overall, the positives outweigh the negatives. It's a monster, it's a beast. I think if Grasshopper would offer maybe a 36, I know they have a 48 one that's in the works for sure that they're going to release. I think for me personally, a 36 would probably be good for me, but I don't know if Grasshopper is going to make something that small. But yeah, I guess that's about it. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. I may do like a 1-year ownership review on it as well, just to give updates on things, because I know that's another thing that people want to know about. It's like, yeah, it's a new mower, it's going to be great and awesome and work for you. Well, what about 1 year and 2 years of ownership? So that might be something I do in the future. But yeah, like I said, you got any questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching.